The three of them didn't do anything in the world within the pagoda. Xianxia was pregnant, so Yang Yi wouldn't touch her regardless of how thirsty he was. On the other hand, it was impossible for anything to occur between Yang Yi and Xiao Yushi because of Xianxia's presence. The three of them just played around within the pagoda for a while before leaving it, because the reinforcements Yang Yi spoke of had arrived at the Sword Sect. Sky Hall. Yang Yi had just entered Sky Hall when he saw a few familiar figures. It was Xianxia from the Treant clan, Lu Jianyao who'd returned to ancient domain city earlier, and Ding Xiaoyao who'd entered into conflict with him the last time they'd met. This was quite surprising to Yang Yi because he'd only expected ancient domain city and the Treant clan. Young Master Yang, we meet again. Ding Xiaoyao smiled. I never expected that Miss Ding would have come as well. Yang Yi nodded lightly while he smiled. Ding Xiaoyao said, I wasn't the only one who came today. I heard the Sword Sect was in danger, so how could my Ding clan stand by idly when we're allies with young Master Yang? So, I brought all the Exalt Realm experts of my Ding clan with me. There is a total of 107 Exalt Realm experts, and 40 of them are at the 5th rank or above. I hope they'll be of help to young Master Yang. Yang Yi was visibly moved. He hadn't expected that Ding Xiaoyao would actually bring all the Exalt Realm experts of the Ding clan. This displayed that she intended to bind her Ding clan with him. Yang Yi instantly came to an understanding upon giving it a little thought. He realized that she was probably aware about him possessing a master at the Half-Saint realm. Otherwise, it was absolutely impossible for Ding Xiaoyao to act in this way. Thank you for the assistance, Miss Ding, said Yang Yi. It's only something that I should do. Ding Xiaoyao smiled before she moved to the side, and then her gaze descended onto Xianxia and Xiao Yushi. She glanced at the two of them, glanced at Yang Yi, and seemed to be lost in thought. My city governor's estate of ancient domain city brought a huge gift for you this time. Lu Jianyao smiled. My ancient god city annihilated all the forces of the Soul Eater Corps while you were at the Sword Sect. Besides the Tuan clans, all other powers related to Luo Jun within ancient domain city have been wiped out. The expressions of everyone here changed, and it even included Yang Yi. They'd experienced the strength of the Soul Eater Corps, so it surprised them that the city governor's estate was actually capable of annihilating 90,000 members of the Soul Eater Corps in such a short period. Moreover, except the Tuan clans, it had even eliminated all the other powers in ancient domain city which were related to Luo Jun. Yang Yi said in his heart, looks like I underestimated the city governor's estate a little. Lu Jianyao continued. I came here today with 100 Exalt Realm experts which my father ordered me to bring over, and 60 of them are at the 5th rank or above. My father said that the agreement between the two of you came into effect when you obtained the world portrait, and it will be in effect for eternity as long as you don't go back on your word. I never betray those who don't betray me, said Yang Yi. Lu Jianyao smiled. That's exactly what I told my father. Yang Yi nodded. Meanwhile, Xianxia said, Young Master Yang, all the members of my Treant clan have settled down in the mountains around the Sword Sect. Perhaps they might be quite weak in terms of offensive strength, but their defensive capabilities will definitely not disappoint you. Unless a Monarch Realm expert acts against them, otherwise, even 1,000 Exalt Realm experts wouldn't be a problem for us. Thank you, said Yang Yi. Xianxia smiled. My Treant clan is bound to you now, so there's no need to be courteous. Yang Yi nodded, and then he gazed at Ding Xiaoyao and said, Miss Ding, you're the best at tricks and schemes amongst us all. So, do you think we should be on the offensive or defensive right now? Ding Xiaoyao rolled her eyes at Yang Yi and said, I've done some investigating. The Origin School has around 100 plus Exalt Realm experts. The Flower Palace is slightly weaker but only has around 70 plus left after it suffered heavy losses, and the Ghost Sect has around 80 as well. As for the Bright Moon Sect, it only has around 50 plus. In overall, the amount of Exalt Realm experts they possess surpasses our forces. But we have that Divine Gold Dragon, and it's sufficient to make up for the difference. So you're saying that we should go on the offensive? Said Yang Yi. Ding Xiaoyao shook her head and said, That would have been the case, but the plan has to be changed now. Why? Yang Yi was puzzled. Ding Xiaoyao's expression became slightly serious as she said, "You should have heard about the exalted Han Empire possessing a group made completely out of Exalt Realm experts, right?" Yang Yi frowned and said, "Luo Jun has dispatched that group?" Ding Xiaoyao said, "Not all. He only dispatched 3,000 Exalt Realm experts, and there are 1,000 amongst them who are at the 5th rank or above. Moreover, it's a well-known general of the exalted Han Empire who'll be leading the troops, Zhao Zhangfei. It's that fellow who just conquered the entire Eastern Territory. He is only at the 5th rank of the Exalt Realm, but he's extremely skilled in commanding his troops, and he's even able to raise the spirits of his troops. In other words, he can raise their morale to improve their strength. So facing him is like facing an army." Yang Yi took a deep and long glance at Ding Xiaoyao before he said, "Since you knew that the exalted Han Empire had dispatched such a formidable army, then why did you still come to the Southern Territory to help me? Isn't it better to offer timely assistance in a time of need instead of trying to improve the strength of a mighty titan?" Ding Xiaoyao smiled. "I'll remember this kindness," said Yang Yi. Ding Xiaoyao smiled and continued, "The Grand Qin Empire and Dark Beast Empire will definitely assist us. However, we'll be attacking sects and not cities, so their armies would be quite insignificant. Only their experts at the Spirit Realm and Exalt Realm would be of use to us. However, even if we include the Exalt Realm experts of both empires, the amount of Exalt Realm experts we possess is still too few when compared to the exalted Han Empire and all of those sects. That is a problem." Yang Yi frowned. He was quite confident in his ability to annihilate a few dozen Exalt Realm experts by joining forces with the Divine Gold Dragon. But it was only limited to ordinary Exalt Realm experts. However, the Exalt Realm experts from the Exalted Han Empire were definitely far from ordinary, and their numbers were so huge as well. Not to mention anything, just a few spatial cages would be sufficient to trap both him and the Divine Gold Dragon completely. "There's another problem," Ding Xiaoyao said. "We've been only speaking about Exalt Realm experts. After all, there's the Monarch Realm above the Exalt Realm. Perhaps the Monarch Realm experts of the Exalted Han Empire and those sects wouldn't attack Yang Yi. But what if they attack us?" "They wouldn't dare," Yang Yi said. "Luo Jun wouldn't dare take that risk. Because once he uses Monarch Realm experts, then the Demon Emperor and my master would definitely act as well. Once experts of that level join the fight, then it wouldn't just be a fight to seize territory, and it could even destroy the continent. That isn't something he wishes to see." Ding Xiaoyao thought for a moment before she said, "I overlooked that. The Mo clan's patriarch Mo Sinew has come to pay a visit to the sect master of the Sword Sect." Right at this moment, a sonorous voice resounded from the horizon. "The Mo clan?" Yang Ye's brows knit together once more. "A visit." A mocking smile appeared on the corners of Ding Xiaoyao's mouth when she heard these words. Even though the Mo clan was just a hidden clan of the Central Territory, not to mention the Sword Sect, even the Origin School couldn't compare to it. Yet now, the patriarch of the Mo clan had actually come to pay a visit to the Sword Sect's master. Ding Xiaoyao knew that it was definitely because the Mo clan knew that Yang Yi had a master at the Half-Saint Realm. Who was the Sword Sect's master? It was Su Xianxia. Who was Su Xianxia? She was Yang Ye's wife. A master was like a parent. In other words, Su Xianxia was equivalent to the daughter-in-law of a half-saint. The Mo clan could give no face to Yang Yi, and it could give no face to Su Xianxia as well. However, it absolutely didn't dare to give no face to a half-saint. Su Xianxia's eyes were filled with a bewildered expression. The Mo clan? Meanwhile, Xiao Yushi spoke a few words by her ear, and then Su Xianxia instantly came to an understanding. So she looked at Yang Yi. "Let's go. Since they've come politely, then we can't be rude," said Yang Yi. All of them left Sky Hall, and they saw a middle-aged man and a woman. Yang Yi knew the woman. It was Mo Qingyue. The middle-aged man sized up Yang Yi carefully before he said, "You really do look like your mother." "She's dead," said Yang Yi. The middle-aged man sighed softly and said, "I know you have some resentment towards the Mo clan, and I won't argue about it with you. I've brought 350 Exalt Realm experts with me today, and 100 of them are at the 5th rank or above. I don't have any other intentions and just want to tell you that the blood of the Mo clan runs through you no matter what. You're a member of the Mo clan. Yang Yi laughed coldly and said, It was a member of the Mo clan that caused the death of my grandmother and forced my mother to flee for her life, right? The middle-aged man said, The culprit was the daughter of the last patriarch of the Mo clan, and the Mo clan has crippled her dantian and sentenced her to eternal imprisonment in the Mo clan's jail. Yang Yi said, Just a single person? The middle-aged man's expression changed slightly, and then he laughed bitterly. This nephew of mine is really as ruthless as the rumors said. If only father paid more attention to that younger sister of his that was born of a maidservant, then he wouldn't have been forced by his grandson to personally cripple and imprison his own wife, and he wouldn't have been removed from the position of patriarch by our clan's ancestor. It was a half-saint. Even if the Mo clan were to side with Luo Jun, wouldn't it be extremely easy for a half-saint to destroy the Mo clan? If the Mo clan wanted to avoid destruction, then the only way was to obtain Yang Ye's forgiveness. Because not only would the danger it faced be resolved upon obtaining Yang Ye's forgiveness, it would even obtain the support of an extraordinary genius and a half-saint to become the #1 hidden clan in the Central Territory. But now it would seem like it wasn't that easy to obtain Yang Ye's forgiveness. Fortunately, it wasn't my mother who caused the death of my younger sister's mother and forced my younger sister to flee the clan. Otherwise, not to mention becoming the Mo clan's patriarch, even surviving would be a problem for me. The middle-aged man pondered deeply for a moment before he said, That's the best my Mo clan can do right now, because she's your grandfather's daughter no matter what. Moreover, she's the daughter of the Situ clan's patriarch. If I were to kill her, then it would definitely cause war to erupt between our clans. So, if you do want to kill her, then you have to attain the monarch realm or ask your master to do it. I'll make a trip to the Mo clan. Yang Yi said, I'm not an unreasonable person, and I won't act against the entire Mo clan. But I'm not someone who's easy to deceive as well. Regardless of what her identity is, I'll definitely kill that person myself. The middle-aged man heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. It's fine so long as he doesn't act against the entire clan. Because our Mo clan really can't endure the rage of a half-saint realm expert. Even if that half-saint doesn't act against our Mo clan, once Yang Yi attains the monarch realm in the future, then he wouldn't need anyone's help. Because the natural talent he possesses would probably allow him to crush the Mo clan on his own. The middle-aged man smiled. The ancestor of our clan said that you're a member of the Mo clan, so the Mo clan will stand on your side no matter what, even if it's against the exalted Han Empire. Yang Yi wasn't a pedantic fellow, so he naturally didn't refuse. Of course, if it was the entire Mo clan which had caused the death of his grandmother and forced his mother to leave, then he wouldn't hesitate to kill this man and woman who stood before him. Right at this moment, a wave of fluctuation arose in the space before Ding Xiaoyao, and a short while passed before her beautiful brows knit together. What's wrong? Asked Yang Yi. Zhao Zhangfei has arrived at the Southern Territory. The first thing he did was immediately stop all the disciples of the 4 sects from coming to the Sword Sect, and then he gathered all of them together. After that, he sent the assassins of the League of Doom to ceaselessly assassinate the high-ranking officials of the Grand Qin Empire. At this moment, many areas of the Grand Qin Empire have started to fall into disorder. What a plan. He's actually thinking of throwing our alliance into disorder as soon as he arrived, said Ding Xiaoyao. Yang Yi said, Since Monarch Realm experts can't join the fight, it'll become disadvantageous to us if such a situation were to continue. Ding Xiaoyao nodded and said, He's forcing us to fight an all-out and decisive battle. Unfortunately, he never imagined that it's exactly what we want as well. If it was just a while ago, then their side had no chance of victory against Zhao Zhangfei's forces. But now that they had the Mo clan's support, even though the amount of Exalt Realm experts they possessed was still inferior, they had Yang Yi and the Divine Gold Dragon. Regardless of whether it was Yang Yi or the Divine Gold Dragon, both of them were invincible in the same realm of cultivation. Are we really going to fight a decisive battle right away? Asked Xianxia. This is only the beginning. Ding Xiaoyao said, If I'm not wrong, then Zhao Zhangfei's objective is to annihilate us if possible. And if it isn't possible, then he'll seek to exhaust our strength. Luo Jun has become the emperor of the Central Territory, but that will definitely cause unrest in the exalted Han Empire. For example, all of those other princes would definitely be unwilling to accept it. So, Luo Jun must deal with the internal matters of the exalted Han Empire before he can march on the Southern Territory. He will definitely not allow us to have an easy time during that period, and that's why he sent Zhao Zhangfei here. We don't just have to win, we must attain an overwhelming victory, said Yang Yi. Ding Xiaoao nodded and said, "You're right, we must attain an overwhelming victory. Only then will we be able to make those in the Southern Territory who haven't chosen a side to feel inclined to join us. So long as we have a chance to win, then I believe that they will definitely not be willing to be dogs for Luo Jun. After all, no one is willing to hand their territory over to another. How will we attain that overwhelming victory?" It was Lu Jianyao who asked this question. Ding Xiaoao grinned and then she gazed at Yang Yi and said, "The first step is to boost the morale of our forces." Yang Yi nodded and said, "I understand." At this moment, all the experts of the Ghost Sect, Flower Palace, and Bright Moon Sect had been summoned to the Origin School by Zhao Zhangfei. Zhao Zhangfei was very clearly aware that if the experts of these sects were to swarm the Sword Sect like bandits, then all of them might be annihilated by Yang Yi regardless of how numerous they were. If they weren't united, then no one could resist Yang Yi and that divine gold dragon. "General Zhao, we have almost 5,000 Exalt Realm experts right now. Isn't it extremely easy for so many experts to annihilate the Sword Sect? Why are you still unwilling to launch the attack until now?" An expert from the Origin School gazed at Zhao Zhangfei, who sat at the seat of the host within a grand hall in the Origin School. Zhao Zhangfei glanced coldly at that elder and said, "I know that all of you aren't soldiers and don't have the understanding of a soldier, but allow me to warn all of you that I have my own plans for everything. All of you only have to obey my orders and cooperate with me, not question me. I'll let it go because it was your first offense. But I'll definitely kill you without mercy if it happens again." The face of that elder from the Origin School and all the other elders of the Origin School flushed red when they heard this, but they didn't dare flare up at all. At the same time, they felt very uncomfortable in their hearts. After all, they were elders of the number 1 sect in the Southern Territory. It had always been others who acted according to their will. When had they ever had to act according to the will of another? "Have you figured out the forces Yang Yi possesses?" Zhao Zhangfei glanced at a refined man at the side. The refined man took a step forward and nodded. "General, everything has been investigated clearly. If the Grand Qin Empire and Dark Beast Empire aren't included, then Yang Yi has less than 800 Exalt Realm experts on his side. If the 2 empires are included, then there should be over 2,000. If those 2 empires use all their trump cards, then it should be around 3,000 instead. However, their strengths are much inferior when compared to ours, and they'll definitely lose in a head-on battle." "You missed something. You missed Yang Yi and that divine gold dragon." Zhao Zhangfei spoke coldly. "Regardless of whether it is Yang Yi or that divine gold dragon, it's utterly impossible to go against them without at least 50 Exalt Realm experts at the 5th rank or above. Especially Yang Yi, who possesses numerous Dao artifacts. I think that even the joint forces of 100 Exalt Realm experts would be helpless against him." The refined man said, "Even then, we still have an absolute advantage." Zhao Zhangfei said, "What would we do if our armies collide and both Yang Yi and that divine gold dragon charge into our army? Would we be able to harm them with the physical defenses they both possess? So, we have to think of a way to deal with Yang Yi, otherwise, that divine gold dragon and him will definitely be able to strike a disastrous blow against us during the battle." The refined man said, "Besides the mortal emperor and a Nanjing, there's probably no Exalt Realm expert in the entire world that can go against him." Zhao Zhangfei's face fell. If the army of the exalted Han Empire could get here, then even if he couldn't defeat Yang Yi with the forces of an entire army, he could still keep Yang Yi busy. It was even to the extent that if he had another 1,000 Exalt Realm experts, then it might even be possible for him to kill Yang Yi. Unfortunately, besides Exalt Realm experts, other troops couldn't arrive at the Southern Territory in time at all, because only Exalt Realm experts could tear through space. The refined man suddenly said, "Should we use the grand formation of blood sacrifice?" Zhao Zhangfei's pupils constricted and the expressions of the others who'd come here with Zhao Zhangfei from the Central Territory had changed drastically as well. Zhao Zhangfei remained silent for a long time before he said, "Allow me to give it some thought. Exalted Han Empire, do any of you dare to fight me?" Right at this moment, a voice resounded from outside the hall. It's Yang Yi. What's he doing here? One of the elders from the Origin School spoke with shock. Yang Yi stood on the divine gold dragon in the air above the Origin School, and he pointed lag towards the Origin School down below while revealing a cold and indifferent expression. Countless disciples of the Origin School ran out onto the square outside their grand hall and gazed at both Yang Yi and the divine gold dragon in midair. That's the sword sect's Yang Yi? What powerful sword intent! I'm actually affected by his sword intent while he's that far away. My God! Exactly how strong is his sword intent? That enormous dragon beneath his is a legendary divine gold dragon? How terrifying! It's even more terrifying than the descriptions in the ancient texts. According to legend, the dragon race is extremely proud and looks down upon humans. How could a dragon actually be willing to become Yang Yi's mount? My God! Could it be that another founding ancestor of the sword sect has been born? His sword intent is at the 8th level at least. There's probably no one in our Origin School who can rival him at the Exalt realm. Alas, our Origin School will be utterly disgraced just like the Flower Palace if no one is able to defeat him in battle. Zhao Zhangfei's expression changed when he heard Yang Yi's voice that came from outside the Grand Hall. He hadn't expected that Yang Yi would actually dare to come here to the Origin School by himself and issue a challenge. Does he really think he is invincible? He intends to dampen the morale of our troops. Meanwhile, the refined man spoke in a low voice. An elder of the Origin School smiled as he said, "Isn't it great that he has come? It just happens to be the best opportunity to deal with him. I refuse to believe that he can escape from a few thousand Exalt realm experts." The refined man glanced at that elder and spoke flatly. "Didn't you hear him? He's asking for a one-on-one battle. We would be the ones who lose face if we sent a group to besiege him, and it would even make the entire southern territory and some of the clans in the central territory think that my exalted Han Empire is afraid of him. If the group of a few thousand Exalt realm experts could really kill him, then it wouldn't be too bad to lose some face. But the problem is, what if they aren't able to kill him? At that time, it would be like Yang Yi smashing our faces on the ground before trampling all over it. How could that be possible?" That elder said, "How could Yang Yi possibly be a match for a few thousand Exalt realm experts? Advisor Zhuge, aren't you thinking a little too highly of him?" The refined man glanced at that elder yet didn't speak another word. That elder was instantly infuriated from being disregarded, but he didn't dare criticize the refined man and could just shoot a fierce glare over. Could it be that all the members of the exalted Han Empire and Origin School have no balls? How about we do this? I'll allow you to fight me in a 2-on-1 battle, all right? Right at this moment, Yang Yi's voice resounded once more by their ears. He's going too far. That elder from the Origin School who spoke before exploded with rage. "Elder Yuan Che, why don't you go fight Yang Yi since you're that angry? Yang Yi is only at the 3rd rank of the Exalt realm, while you're already at the 9th rank of the Exalt realm. It should be easy for Elder Yuan Che to kill Yang Yi with the strength you possess." The refined man spoke in an indifferent tone. The corners of that elder's mouth twitched. Even though he hadn't fought Yang Yi in the past, he'd heard about Yang Yi's deeds. Yang Yi had even killed a few 9th-rank Exalt realm experts in succession while he attacked the Flower Palace. Moreover, Yang Yi had slaughtered 10,000 troops from the Soul Eater Corps with that golden dragon. So he was clearly aware that if he were to fight Yang Yi, then he wouldn't be a match for Yang Yi at all. However, if he didn't head over and face Yang Yi after that refined man spoke like that, then it would really bring huge disgrace to the Origin School. But if he went to face Yang Yi, then it was very likely that he wouldn't be able to return. Didn't Yang Yi say so just now? He allows us to fight him in a 2-on-1 battle. Since it's like that, then let's send one expert from my Origin School and another from the exalted Han Empire, all right? Meanwhile, one of the other elders of the Origin School spoke abruptly. "Right?" Yuan Che hurriedly said, "Yang Yi didn't just provoke my Origin School, he provoked the exalted Han Empire as well. General Zhao, you're a great general of the exalted Han Empire who possesses countless experts under our command, so wouldn't you be able to annihilate Yang Yi by casually sending any one of them?" Zhao Zhangfei glanced coldly at Yuan Che. These elders are really utterly useless yet good at causing trouble. If it wasn't out of consideration of the overall situation, Zhao Zhangfei really wanted to kill Yuan Che on the spot. "I'm willing to fight that fellow, Yang Yi." Meanwhile, a middle-aged man who was covered in armor had stepped forward. Zhao Zhangfei frowned and then he said, Yang Yi is practically invincible amongst those of the same realm of cultivation. The two of you will probably be no match for him even if you join forces. There's no need to make unnecessary sacrifices. But he can't be allowed to continue mouthing off from outside. The man spoke in a deep voice. Allow me and Elder Yuan Che to test his strength. We'll flee if we can't fight him. Zhao Zhangfei was quite hesitant because Luo Jun's message to him contained Luo Jun's warning to be cautious of Yang Yi. He could imagine how strong Yang Yi was, otherwise, the mortal emperor would definitely not attach such importance to Yang Yi and ask him to be cautious. Just let them test Yang Yi's strength. Meanwhile, the refined man said, we need to have a clear understanding of Yang Yi's strength, only then can we know our enemy well enough to formulate our strategy for the upcoming battle. Perhaps Elder Yuan Che and Qi who are no match for Yang Yi, but it should be possible for them to escape him. Even if they can't, we have all of our forces here, and we can lend them a hand. Zhao Zhangfei hesitated for a moment before he nodded and said, retreat immediately if the two of you are no match for him, understand? Even though Luo Jun had asked him to be cautious. He didn't have a good understanding of Yang Yi's strength at all. Just as the refined man had said, he needed to understand Yang Yi's true strength. If Zhao Zhangfei was aware of Yang Yi's accomplishments during the battle outside the Saint Ruins, then he probably wouldn't allow them to fight Yang Yi. Unfortunately, he didn't because Luo Jun had sealed off the news about his loss to Yang Yi. As the mortal emperor, how could he let others become aware of his loss to Yang Yi? After all, it would be a lethal blow to his reputation. So, he hadn't told Zhao Zhangfei about Yang Yi's true strength, and he just asked Zhao Zhangfei to be careful. The man in armor nodded while a little disdain arose in Yuan Che's heart. He admitted that he might not be able to fight Yang Yi in a one-on-one battle, but he refused to believe that the joint forces of two 9th-rank Exalt Realm experts would lose to Yang Yi. After all, Yang Yi was only at the Exalt Realm and not the Monarch Realm. So, Yuan Che truly felt that these profounders of the Central Territory were too cowardly. The two of them left the Grand Hall and shot up into the air. Yang Yi, how dare you come here and run wild at my origin school? I'll teach you the meaning of the word death today. Yuan Che glared angrily at Yang Yi upon arriving in the air, and his imposing aura swept out violently. Yang Yi laughed coldly as he swung lag, and then an indistinct ripple flashed by. Yuan Che's expression changed slightly, and he was just about to counterattack when the speed of that ripple suddenly rose explosively. Yuan Che was astounded because it arrived almost instantaneously in front of him, and he was just about to dodge it. Unfortunately, he felt a strand of strange energy envelop him at this instant, and the ripple had vanished when that energy vanished. Yuan Che was stunned, and then he roared madly with laughter and said, Yang Yi, is that your sword chi? Is that all? Yang Yi gazed at Yuan Che as if he was looking at an idiot. Pooh! Yuan Che was about to continue ridiculing Yang Yi when a strand of fresh blood suddenly sprayed from his neck, and then his eyes opened wide while his last thoughts flashed through his mind. What's going on? After that, his head tilted to the side and fell off towards the ground. The surroundings were deathly silent. Yang Yu instantly annihilated a 9th-rank Exalt Realm expert just like that? He didn't even have the strength to resist? Is Yang Yi a Monarch Realm expert? Your sword intent. The man in armor gazed at Yang Yi with astonishment, and he was just about to say something with a ripple shot through his neck, and it made his voice stop abruptly. He's annihilating 9th-rank Exalt Realm experts with just a swing of his sword. Everyone watching in the surroundings gazed at Yang Yi with terror, and the legs of some comparatively weaker disciples had even started to tremble. Yang Yi glanced indifferently at all of the figures on the ground below, and then he said, too weak. Send another two up here. Zhao Zhangfei had an extremely gloomy expression on his face while his right hand clenched tightly onto the hilt of his sword that hung on his waist. The refined man by his side had an extremely solemn expression on his face as well, and his brows were knit together tightly. As for the other elders of the Origin School and the Exalt Realm profounders here, all of them had fear covering their faces while they looked at Yang Yi as if they were looking at a monster. They were very clearly aware that Yang Yi was extremely strong, but they hadn't imagined that he would be strong to such an extent. There isn't a single Exalt Realm expert throughout the Southern Territory who can be a match for him. An elder of the Origin School spoke after a short while passed. What should we do now? One of the experts from the exalted Han Empire spoke in a low voice. Everyone shot their gazes towards Zhao Zhangfei. After a moment of silence, Zhao Zhangfei revealed a ferocious expression as he said, Zhuge, prepare the grand formation of blood sacrifice. Zhuge's eyelids twitched, and then he glanced up at Yang Yi before he sighed softly and left. Zhao Zhangfei looked up into the sky and then he said, intermittently dispatch an Exalt Realm expert to fight him. He must be delayed here for 24 hours. Meanwhile, one of the elders of the Origin School spoke abruptly. Will it be the Exalt Realm experts of the Origin School or the Exalted Han Empire? The hearts of the other elders shook when they heard this, because all of them were clearly aware that anyone who was sent up there would be killed. Zhao Zhangfei glanced coldly at that elder of the Origin School and said, since you've sided with my Exalted Han Empire, then you must understand your own status. If you don't, then I wouldn't mind personally making you understand. After all, he'd annihilated countless sects like the Origin School while he conquered the Eastern Territory. What are you trying to say? The expression of that elder changed. I'm saying that if my Exalted Han Empire were to retreat, then what would your Origin School do? Said Zhao Zhangfei. That elder's countenance instantly turned pale. If the Exalted Han Empire were to retreat right now, then not to mention Xianxia, just that divine gold dragon would be a huge problem for the Origin School. Moreover, if Zhao Zhangfei were to act against the Origin School, then how would the Origin School resist him? Some of the elders had realized that, so their faces had turned paler. At the same time, they felt even more uncomfortable in their hearts. What was it like to bring disaster upon oneself? This was exactly it. An elder of the Origin School appeared near Xianxia. Sword Emperor, you're invincible amongst those at the same realm of cultivation, so aren't you bullying others by coming here and challenging the members of my Origin School? Wouldn't it be bad for your reputation if news of this were to spread? That elder spoke in a very polite tone, and he seemed to have no interest in fighting Xianxia at all. Reputation? Xianxia laughed coldly. They call me the Sword Demon. What reputation do I have? As for bullying. Haha. You're at the 5th rank of the Exalt Realm at least, right? I'm only at the 3rd rank of the Exalt Realm, so it should be you who is bullying me, right? Cut the crap and just attack. You. That elder was infuriated. He intended to continue speaking, but Xianxia suddenly moved his hand slightly. That elder was astounded by this development, and he didn't hesitate to turn around and flee. In less than a breath of time, that elder had vanished from Xianxia's field of vision. Xianxia was stunned. That fellow fled just like that? All the disciples on the ground below were stunned. An elder of our sect fled just like that? He didn't even have the courage to fight? Countless disciples of the Origin School felt unbearably aggrieved. After all, when had the Origin School been humiliated like that? When that elder returned to the hall, everyone within it looked coldly at him while their eyes carried undisguised ridicule. This even included most of the experts from the Origin School. They wouldn't act like this even if he'd just exchanged 2 blows with Xianxia before fleeing. After all, everyone had witnessed Xianxia's strength. But he'd actually turned around and fled before even fighting, and he was afraid of death to such an extent. That elder's face flushed red, but his face quickly returned to normal. He said, I know that all of you look down upon my actions. Humph. If you are confident in your ability to resist an attack from Xianxia, then go ahead and give it a try. All of them were speechless because besides a few people here, all the others weren't confident in their ability to resist even a single attack from Xianxia. So the Origin School is actually full of such trash. This is the #1 sect of the Southern Territory? Haha. But it still isn't that bad. At least the Origin School has backbone unlike the Exalted Han Empire and dares to step forward to face me. However, the Exalted Han Empire only knows how to hide at the back and doesn't even dare to step forward. TSK, the subordinates of the Mortal Emperor? What a joke. Meanwhile, Xianxia's voice resounded from outside. The members of the Origin School were infuriated to the point their faces turned livid when they heard Xianxia, but it wasn't long before it felt much better for them, and then they smiled coldly as they gazed at the members of the Exalted Han Empire. Motherf.u.c.cur. That bastard, Xianxia, is going too far. Let me fight him. A fatty who held hammers in each hand spot on the ground and was about to charge out of the hall. Zhao Zhangfei commanded. Get back here. The fatty stopped, turned around, and gazed at Zhao Zhangfei as he said, Big brother Zhao, that fellow insulted us and insulted the Mortal Emperor. I truly can't swallow such an insult. If worse comes to worse, Lao Fei, will just take him down with me. You're prohibited from heading out there. Zhao Zhangfei gazed at Lao Fei as he spoke with a trace of anger. The fatty's face was covered in rage. He gazed at Zhao Zhangfei for a short while before he sighed softly in the end, and then he returned to where he stood earlier. He knew that he would definitely be punished according to martial law if he were to leave the hall. However, he was truly unable to swallow this insult and humiliation. Elders of the Origin School, head out and meet him in battle. Zhao Zhangfei withdrew his gaze and spoke indifferently. The expressions of all the members of the Origin School changed drastically and their eyes were instantly filled with flames of rage. This fellow clearly intends for us to go and give our lives away. General Zhao, are you trying to make the members of my Origin School give our lives away? One of the elders spoke furiously. Bang! Zhao Zhangfei suddenly slapped the table before him with his right palm and it was instantly transformed into power. He glared angrily at that elder and said, members of the Origin School, I'll only repeat myself once more. All of you must realize your status. Since you've sided with the mortal emperor, then you're naturally obliged to obey the orders of my exalted Han Empire. I'll kill you on the spot if you dare to question my orders again. Your Origin School can try and see if the mortal emperor will uphold justice for you. The elders of the Origin School were almost overwhelmed with rage, but not a single one of them dared to talk back to Zhao Zhangfei. Zhao Zhangfei spoke in a furious tone. Immediately send someone out to keep Yang Yi busy. Don't force me to make things difficult for all of you. The members of the Origin School were at a loss for words. Kingly City. It was a city of around 5 million inhabitants which was only a few hundred kilometers away from the Origin School. Even though Kingly City belonged to the exalted Han Empire, it was in the control of the Origin School's forces. So, the orders of the exalted Han Empire were completely useless here. At this moment, 1,000 masked experts were carrying out a crazy slaughter throughout Kingly City. Everywhere they passed, howls of sorrow resounded and none could stop them. Because every single one of them was an Exalt Realm expert. Just a single Exalt Realm expert was extremely terrifying, let alone 1,000. So, less than 10 hours passed before the entire Kingly City had been transformed into a city of the dead as all 5 million inhabitants had been slaughtered. The aura of blood, evil, and resentment shot into the sky. A refined man stood at the center of the city while numerous mysterious and scarlet-red strings of blood resided beneath his feet. The strings of blood swept towards the surroundings and it wasn't long before the entire city was suffused by these strings of blood. A black-clothed figure arrived before the refined man and he cupped his fists and said, Advisor Zhuge, the inhabitants of the entire city have been annihilated. The refined man nodded and said, Everyone leave the city and head back to assist General Zhao in trapping Yang Yi. Yes. Countless black-clothed figures tore space open and vanished from Kingly City. The refined man flipped his right palm and then a skull appeared in his hand. As soon as it appeared in his hand, the energy of blood, evil, and slaughter surged madly towards the skull. As it surged incessantly into the skull, a strand of monstrous killing intent and baleful energy appeared within Kingly City. The skull revolved incessantly as it absorbed the energy of blood and evil in the city, and it actually started growing a body while it absorbed the endless energy. After that, a blood-red saber slowly appeared within its grasp. Yet now, only half the energy of blood and evil within the city had been absorbed. As he gazed at the skeleton in front of him, Zhuge had a solemn expression on his face, and he held tightly onto a wooden tablet in his right hand. If it wasn't for the sake of killing Yang Yi, even he didn't want to utilize such a ruthless and immoral grand formation to summon a terrifying being that shouldn't exist in the world. However, it couldn't be helped because there was probably no one in the world that could stop Yang Yi if experts at the Monarch realm or above didn't interfere. A dark blue ball of flames gradually appeared in the right eye of the skeleton, and the skeleton itself grew even more wicked. The refined man's expression grew even more serious as well. 2 hours later, a fiery red ball of flames suddenly appeared in the skeleton's left eye. As soon as that ball of flames appeared, the space before the skeleton instantly collapsed while the houses in an area of a few thousand kilometers around it were instantly transformed into powder. The skeleton raised its head and looked up into the sky. Bang! 2 blood-red rays of light shot out from its eyes and surged into the sky. At this moment, all the experts throughout the southern territory were shocked. At the imperial palace of the Grand Qin Empire, the founding emperor was in a meeting when his expression suddenly changed, and then he glanced towards Kingly City before he instantly vanished on the spot. All the other officials in the palace were shocked. At the Grand Myriad Mountains, the expression of the beast emperor who was cultivating had suddenly changed, and then he glanced towards Kingly City. In the next moment, he vanished from his palace. Kingly City after tens of thousands of years. The human world. Blood. Thick blood. Souls. So many souls. The skeleton glanced towards the surroundings while its voice carried coldness that instilled horror in the hearts of others. Corpse ancestor, I used the blood and resentment of millions to revive you because I want you to help me do something. Accomplish it, and I promise on behalf of the mortal emperor that you'll be provided with the blood and resentment of billions to rebuild your body, said the refined man. The skeleton turned to look at the refined man, and then he pondered deeply for a moment before a ray of blood-red light shot towards the refined man. The refined man seemed to have expected it, and his expression didn't change at all as his profound energy surged into the wooden tablet in his palm. "Ah!" The skeleton suddenly cried with pain, and that ray of blood-red light instantly vanished as well. "Corpse ancestor, since I dared to revive you, I'm naturally confident in my ability to deal with you." The refined man spoke indifferently. "A soul-control tablet." The skeleton's voice trembled slightly and carried shock as it said, "You're from the Zhuge clan." The refined man didn't answer the question and just pointed at the surroundings before he said, "Corpse ancestor, do you sense it? This world is filled with fresh blood and souls. If you want to rebuild your body, then adopt the right attitude. After all, you aren't the same corpse ancestor from all those years ago. Human, don't think that you can order me around like a slave just because you possess that soul control tablet. Do you believe me if I tell you that I can still kill you if I resolve to bring you down with me?" The saber formed from blood within corpse ancestor's grasp spun incessantly. The refined man nodded and said, "But why should we fight to the death? If we work together, then I can accomplish my goal while you'll be able to rebuild your body. Isn't that very good?" If it wasn't because they'd encountered a peerless monster like Xianxia, he would never revive this fellow before him because it was too evil, immortal, and went against the balance of the world. It seemed to be fine now, but he was actually covered in bad karma now, and the punishment which the heavens would strike down upon him when he advanced into the monarch realm would be extremely terrifying. However, so long as Luo Jun unified the continent and utilized the karmic luck of the mortal emperor to cleanse the bad karma he possessed, then he would be able to endure a normal heavenly tribulation and advance like a normal person. After a moment of silence, the skeleton said, "Who do I have to kill?" The refined man revealed a slight smile as he said, "The Sword Emperor." "The Sword Sect?" At the moment the rays of blood-red light had shot into the sky, the expressions of all the girls who were discussing the plan within Sky Hall had changed, and they flew out of Sky Hall and gazed towards Kingly City. Xianxia asked, "What's that? What a thick aura of death." Ding Xiao fell silent for a moment before her expression suddenly changed. "That doesn't seem good. Zhao Zhangfei and the others are definitely about to stop at nothing to besiege and kill Xianxia. Xianxia might be in danger." Their expressions changed when they heard this. Xiao Yushi intended to charge out of Sky Hall without the slightest, but she was stopped by Ding Xiaoyao, who said he only might be in danger. With the strength that both he and that divine gold dragon possess, it's impossible to kill him with just the joint forces of 3,000 Exalt Realm experts. You'll only distract him by going there by yourself. "Then are we supposed to just do nothing?" said Xiao Yushi. Ding Xiao shook her head and said, "Of course not. Immediately summon all the Exalt Realm experts and set out to the Origin School." All of the others were shocked, and Lu Jianyu said, "We're going to fight an all-out battle right now?" Ding Xiao said, "It can't be helped. Even though I don't know what they're planning, based on Zhao Zhangfei's character, he is definitely confident in his ability to deal with Xianxia if he has made a move. If Zhao Zhangfei's plan fails to deal with Xianxia, then we'll have a good chance of success even if we fight an all-out battle with them. However, if Xianxia is killed or heavily injured by them, then all our plans would be meaningless. Thus, we must go there." All of the others didn't object. It wasn't long before over 1,000 Exalt Realm experts tore Spare apart and rushed towards the Origin School. At the same time, over 300 Exalt Realm experts from the Grand Qin Empire and over 300 Exalt Realm experts from the Dark Beast Empire rushed towards the Origin School as well. The Flower Palace, Ghost Sect, and Bright Moon Sect refused to show weakness as well. All the experts from their sects had set out towards the Origin School. At this moment, the gazes of everyone within the Southern Territory had shot towards the Origin School. The Origin School. Hiss! Xianxia waved his hand, and then a strand of sword chi flashed out before the head of an elder of the Origin School instantly flew into the air. Xianxia laughed coldly, and he was just about to say something when he suddenly turned to look towards the horizon. 2 blood-red rays of light had shot into the clouds there, and it seemed like it could pierce holes through the heavens. A slight feeling of danger arose in Xianxia's heart. He glanced down to the ground below, and then his heart shook. At this moment, he finally understood why members of the Origin School had come out incessantly to give their lives away to him. It was because they wanted to keep him here. So, as soon as he thought up to this point, Xianxia didn't hesitate at all to issue a command, and the divine gold dragon roared furiously and was about to leave. Right at this moment, 2,000 experts in dark golden armor appeared around him. All of them were Exalt Realm experts. Xianxia's expression changed slightly, and he thought to himself, as expected, they really were trying to keep me busy. Those 2 blood-red rays of light are definitely from the scheme they've prepared for me. Xianxia, it's too late to try and leave now. Meanwhile, Zhao Jingfei appeared in midair with a group of experts, and he said, Xianxia, you could have avoided all of this, yet you just had to come and court death. No matter how monstrous you are, right here and now will be where you are buried. With just all of you? Xianxia laughed coldly. 2,000 Exalt Realm expert? Haha. If I decide to leave, then what could all of you possibly do even if there was another 1,000 amongst you? As expected of the Sword Emperor. You're actually still so calm and composed even when facing 2,000 Exalt Realm experts. Zhao Zhangfei smiled and said, I know we're unable to stop you as well, so I specially prepared an opponent for you. Xianxia was just about to speak when an extremely thick smell of blood suddenly appeared in the air above the Origin School. And then everyone watched with astonishment as the sky above the Origin School actually turned blood red. Meanwhile, a blood-red figure flashed through the air towards Xianxia. Xianxia's expression changed drastically and he was just about to counterattack, but that blood-red figure's speed suddenly shot up explosively and smashed against his chest at a speed which he wasn't able to avoid at all. Bang! Xianxia was blasted flying, and his body smashed against a mountain behind the Grand Hall of the Origin School. Bang! The upper half of the mountain immediately collapsed. All the spectators in the surroundings were astounded by this scene. Roar! The divine gold dragon roared furiously, but the skeleton suddenly appeared on the divine gold dragon's back. That's the Sword Emperor of this era? How weak! The skeleton stomped with his feet as he spoke. Bang! The divine gold dragon howled with pain. The golden scales it had around it, which represented the divine dragon armor, had instantly cracked apart while its figure crashed towards the ground. Bang! The divine gold dragon smashed a deep hole into the ground, and there was no further movement from it after that. The spectators were stunned speechless by this scene. A monarch realm expert? Killing intent flashed through both the founding emperor and beast emperor's eyes as they stood high above amidst the clouds, and they slowly clenched their fists. However, it was long before they relaxed their fists again because the skeleton wasn't a monarch realm expert. What exactly is that monster? The beast empire revealed a solemn expression. The founding emperor shook his head and said, I've never seen or heard of something like that. I wonder if Xianxia will be able to deal with it. The beast emperor wasn't really confident in Xianxia this time because while the skeleton wasn't at the monarch realm, it was truly too unusual. Let's just watch for now, said the founding emperor. The skeleton below gazed at the refined man and said, That's the person you wanted me to kill? The Sword Emperor? How weak. All right, I've killed him, so give me blood and souls. Right at this moment, the skeleton suddenly looked towards the direction which Xianxia had been blasted towards and said, Interesting. The others looked along the gaze of the skeleton and saw Xianxia flying slowly towards the skeleton, and they noticed that Xianxia was actually completely fine. Hiss! The skeleton waved his hand and then a ray of blood-red light tore through the sky and shot towards Xianxia. Xianxia grunted coldly and then he swung lag. A strand of sword chi collided with the blood-red light. Bang! Both of them rumbled as they exploded apart, and then countless blood-red threads and threads of sword chi shot towards the surroundings. In an instant, numerous shrill cries resounded from below, because all those who were struck by the threads of blood-red light or sword chi had been instantly blasted apart, and it was the same even for some Exalt Realm experts. They were utterly unable to resist the blood-red threads and threads of sword chi. Xianxia revealed a solemn expression because that strand of sword chi carried his 10th level perfect sword intent. However, it was exactly such an attack which had actually only been an equal match for the skeleton's attack. What sort of monster is that skeleton? The profound energy within Xianxia's body surged violently. He had to fight seriously, otherwise he might really make a careless mistake and suffer a horrible defeat. Perfection in sword intent? The skeleton's voice carried a trace of surprise before it said, "Not bad. Even if it were during the ancient times of over 20,000 years ago, you would still be a monstrous genius amongst the human race based on your ability to attain perfection in sword intent at such a young age. Now I understand why Zhuge would have revived me. It's because there really isn't anyone beneath the monarch realm who can kill you." Xianxia said, "Are you a monarch realm expert?" The skeleton said, "I'm not." "Then what are you acting all arrogant about?" Xianxia interrupted the skeleton. As soon as he spoke that last word, he relied on the speed boost from the stellar shuttle to instantly arrive before the skeleton, and then he stabbed Lag at the skeleton's chest. Clang! A resounded sound of metal colliding resounded. Xianxia's pupils constricted because Lag had actually curved. He didn't hesitate to flash 300 away, and his expression was unprecedented solemn as he gazed at the skeleton. Lag was a Dao artifact. Even though it was an artificial Dao artifact, it was still a Dao artifact. This Dao artifact of mine is actually not as solid as that pile of bones? Meanwhile, the skeleton said, "Even though I'm not at the monarch realm, my physical body is comparable to the physical body of a half-saint. Not to mention a mere ant at the exalt realm like you, even ordinary monarch realm experts wouldn't be able to break through my defenses with ease. All right, I don't want to waste my breath on you anymore. Just die." As soon as he finished speaking, 2 strands of flames sprayed out from the skeleton's eyes. The flames expanded as they moved forward, and they instantly transformed into 2 almost 3 kilometers long flame dragons that swallowed Xianxia. The skeleton said, "These flames of mine are mysterious flames from outer space. You'll definitely die even if you possess perfect sword intent." Suddenly, his voice stopped abruptly, because the 2 enormous flame dragons had suddenly roared furiously, and their roars carried traces of pain. After that, Xianxia charged out from within the enormous dragon while a flaming vest that seemed as if it was made from flames covered Xianxia. Those 2 flame dragons roared furiously without end as they gazed at the flaming vest, but they didn't dare try to swallow Xianxia as they had just now. Nether Ghost Flame. The flame dragons flew back into the skeleton's eyes, and he said, "I really underestimated you a little. I never expected that you would possess the Nether Ghost Flame. However, it's useless even if you possess the legendary Heaven Incinerator, because you're dead." As he spoke, the skeleton suddenly swung the blood-red saber in his hand, and then an almost 3 kilometers long blood-red pillar of saber chi blotted out the sky as it slashed down towards Xianxia. As soon as he executed this attack, many disciples of the Origin School and troops from the exalted Han Empire were instantly knocked unconscious by the bloody aura within the saber chi. The entire Origin School was enveloped by the aura of blood. Countless profounders fled madly towards the surroundings. Xianxia was just about to activate his sword domain when the pearl of baleful blood suddenly appeared at the center of his forehead. After that, a ray of red light enveloped Xianxia before a blood-red vortex appeared in front of him. The skeleton's blood-red saber chi entered directly into the vortex, and then Xianxia's hair instantly turned scarlet red while his eyes became blood-red again. Fortunately, Xianxia hurriedly utilized his sword domain to suppress this aura of blood. Otherwise, he might go mad or explode on the spot because of this aura of blood. How could that be possible? The skeleton's voice carried undisguised shock and bewilderment. "Do you know what my other nickname is? It's the Sword Demon. You're a demon, but so am I. Understand?" As soon as he finished speaking, Xianxia had appeared before the skeleton, and Lag swept horizontally towards the skeleton's throat. Clang! Sparks shot towards the surroundings, but Lag wasn't able to leave even a mark behind on those bones. Xianxia's eyes narrowed slightly. He was about to retreat when the skeleton smashed a punch against his chest. Xianxia was blasted flying once more. However, he merely flew for 300 before he stopped. It would really be great if a Nanjing were here. Her sky split would definitely be able to blast this pile of bones apart. Xianxia thought in his heart while he gazed at the skeleton. The skeleton said, "You've really surprised me. I never expected that your physical body would actually be so formidable as well. Even though it's inferior to mine, it's probably comparable to some monarch realm experts who have utilized the might of divine lightning to temper their bodies. Alright, let's cut the crap. I still have to go devour fresh blood and souls, so you should just die right now. The skeleton took a step forward, and the space beneath his foot instantly collapsed while he pointed his blood-red saber at Yang Yi. In an instant, the blood-red saber seemed as if it had come to life, and a strange skull actually appeared on its tip. In the next moment, the blood-red saber swished forward like a bolt of lightning and instantly arrived before Yang Yi. Yang Yi's expression changed slightly while he swiftly swung leg. A snow-white strand of sword chi shot forward. However, that strand of sword chi which carried 10th level sword intent was instantly blasted apart by the skull. Yang Yi's pupils constricted. He suddenly stomped his right foot down as he activated his sword domain. In an instant, the skull stopped, and then Yang Yi stretched out his hand and grasped while he shouted, "Mince!" Countless rays of light flashed incessantly within his sword domain. Roar! The skull's howl resounded from within the sword domain. The sword domain. You've actually comprehended sword domain. The skeleton's voice carried terror as he said, "How could that be possible? You're only a little over 20. How could you have possibly comprehended sword domain? How could that be possible?" Bang! The skull was minced apart to the point it exploded apart within the sword domain. The Beast Emperor and Founding Emperor finally heaved a sigh of relief when they saw this because they felt that Yang Yi was in an invincible position with the sword domain at his disposal. As far as they were concerned, Yang Yi was extremely important right now, because he was the one and only person who could restrain the monarch realm experts of the Central Territory, and he was the only one capable of going against Luo Jun. If Yang Yi were to die or lose, then it would be a calamity to the Southern Territory. On the other side, the faces of Yuan Tian and the others twitched incessantly. Moreover, it was especially so for Chen Huagu. Yang Yi must die. He must. Yuan Tian clenched his fists tightly as he spoke in a low voice. After all, if Yang Yi didn't die and was given the time to mature, then he would definitely become a figure like the Sword Sect's founding ancestor. At that time, wouldn't it be beyond easy for him to annihilate the Origin School? If he doesn't die now, then we'll be the ones who die in the future. The Ghost King of the Ghost Sect revealed undisguised killing intent. The Sect Master of the Bright Moon Sect, Kuang Yu, said, "He has a master at the Half-Saint Realm. Anyone who kills him will die as well." All of them instantly fell silent. A short while later, Chen Huagu said, "Luo Jun desires his death more than we do." Zhao Zhangfei and the refined man's expressions weren't composed and indifferent any longer when they saw Yang Yi reveal his sword domain, and there was only shock left in their eyes. The sword domain, that's something which only the legendary founding ancestor of the Sword Sect comprehended, yet Yang Yi has actually comprehended it as well. My God! Even the Sword Sect's founding ancestor had only comprehended it at around the age of 100. But how old is Yang Yi? Even the Sword Sect's founding ancestor can be considered to be trash when compared to him. Everyone heed my command. Attack at full force to kill Yang Yi. Right at this moment, Zhao Zhangfei's voice suddenly resounded in the sky above the Origin School. Over 3,000 Exalt Realm experts flashed through the sky. Right at this moment, the skeleton swung his blood-red saber at those Exalt Realm experts. An array of blood-red light shot out violently from it. The expressions of countless Exalt Realm experts changed drastically, and they hurriedly joined forces and created spatial barriers before they were finally able to stop that blood-red ray of light. "Don't you fucking interfere. I'm going to crush him myself." The skeleton's sonorous voice resounded through the air above the Origin School. Zhao Zhangfei's expression changed, and he shot a glance at Zhuge. Zhuge said, "Listen to him. He was once a Saint Realm expert at any rate. Even though he isn't even at the Monarch Realm right now, he's not weak to the point of even being unable to kill an Exalt Realm Profounder." Zhao Zhangfei nodded. Palm of Doom. Right at this moment, the skeleton roared furiously. An enormous black-colored palm seemed like it was descending from the sky as it appeared in the sky above the Origin School. Moreover, The formidable pressure emanated by the enormous palm instantly blasted the grand hall below into powder. Everyone move 3 kilometers back. No, move 5 kilometers back. Zhao Zhangfei's fearful voice resounded in the sky above the origin school. Yuan Tian's expression changed when that enormous palm appeared in the air, and he waved his right hand and instantly transported some of the disciples on the ground below by over 5 kilometers away. However, he wasn't able to transport some of them away in time. They were instantly struck by the terrifying aura emanated by that enormous black palm to the point of death. That's a Tao technique of legend. The founding emperor's expression became extremely solemn while he spoke in a low voice. The beast emperor's eyelids twitched while shock filled his eyes, because even he had only heard of Tao techniques from legends. To be more precise, Tao techniques had only existed during the ancient times, and it practically didn't exist in the continent now. What exactly is that fellow's origins? Why does he possess a Tao technique? The founding emperor clenched his fists tightly as he spoke in a low voice. The beast emperor shook his head and said, "Will Yang Yi be able to resist it?" The founding emperor said, "Be prepared to act." The beast emperor glanced at the founding emperor, and then he nodded. "Human, you've never seen a legendary Tao technique, right? Ha." The skeleton's voice was filled with complacency. A Tao technique. Yang Yi took a deep breath as he flipped his palm, and the ancient sheath appeared in his grasp before he sheathed lag within it. Truthfully speaking, he really didn't want to utilize the Heavenren drawing technique because every single time he used it would represent the destruction of a Tao artifact. The destruction of Void Flash really hurt, and he really didn't want to lose lag as well. But it couldn't be helped because he would probably be unable to stop that enormous palm without Heavenrend. Yang Yi stopped hesitating and suddenly exerted strength with his right hand. Clang! A sword howl resounded through the entire southern territory, while the world dimmed down. Heavenrend! Yang Yi drew with all his strength before slashing swiftly, and then a ray of light shot into the air and stabbed that enormous palm. On the other hand, lag exploded into countless pieces. Bang! The enormous palm and the ray of light collided, and then it seemed like a star had exploded into pieces. The heavens and the earth trembled while countless strands of black-colored energy and sword energy shot madly towards the surroundings. It simply seemed like the end of the world had arrived. Zhao Zhangfei and the others were astounded. They hadn't imagined that Yang Yi was actually strong to such an extent that even a Tao technique of legend couldn't kill him. Is he really only around the age of 20? Is he really not a monarch realm expert? The flames in the skeleton's eyes surged incessantly as he said, "How could this be possible? You! What sword technique was that? It was actually not inferior to my Tao technique. Sword of Elements." Yang Ye's voice suddenly resounded, and then an enormous sword that was formed from natural treasures shot through the sky and smashed against the skeleton's chest. Yang Yi never had the habit of discussing things with his opponents while in battle. Bang! Flames instantly enveloped the skeleton while countless bolts of violet lightning attacked him incessantly. Bang! Meanwhile, the divine gold dragon that had been smashed into the ground just now had charged out and circled in the sky above Yang Yi. Yang Yi had a solemn expression on his face as he gazed at the divine gold dragon which was covered in injuries, and then he waved his right hand and sent it into the tiny vortex. The divine gold dragon was extremely helpful to him, so he refused to allow it to be destroyed. Bang! A blood-red ray of light shot out from within the ocean of flames, and the 3 natural treasures were blasted away. Everyone in the surroundings watched as the skeleton walked out slowly with the blood-red saber in his hand, and he said, "My body is comparable to the physical body of a half-saint, so how could it be destroyed by an ant like you? What a headache!" Yang Yi stomped his right foot on the ground and shot forward explosively. He instantly arrived in front of the skeleton before smashing his fist against the skeleton's head. Bang! The skeleton was blasted flying. However, Yang Yi suddenly appeared before him again, and then Yang Yi stomped his foot against the skeleton's throat. The skeleton was about to block the strike when a golden rope shot forward like a bolt of lightning from Yang Ye's arm, and it instantly bound the skeleton. After that, bang! 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 Yang Ye's fists and feet were like a raging storm that descended incessantly onto the skeleton. Zhao Zhangfei and Zhuge's expressions were unsightly to the extreme as they watched Yang Yi beat the skeleton around like a sandbag. That's the ancient corpse ancestor you spoke of? That's the existence you said was capable of obliterating the world during the ancient times? Mr. Zhuge, are you kidding me? Zhao Zhangfei spoke with a gloomy expression on his face. Zhuge shook his head and said, "It's not because he's too weak, it's because Yang Yi is too strong. We've really underestimated Yang Ye's strength since the beginning. He must be killed, otherwise, he would absolutely be more terrifying than the Sword Sect's founding ancestor in the future. The mortal emperor can dream of unifying the continent while he's alive. If he were to assist the mortal emperor, then unifying the entire continent wouldn't be difficult at all. What a pity!" Zhao Zhangfei shook his head. "Order them to prepare themselves to join forces with the corpse ancestor to crush Yang Yi," said Zhuge. Zhao Zhangfei nodded. After all, anyone could discern that the skeleton wasn't able to kill Yang Yi at all. Bang! Yang Yi stomped his foot against the skeleton's face, and he instantly stomped the skeleton deep into the ground. This time, Yang Yi didn't pursue the skeleton anymore because he noticed that it was completely useless. At this moment, his hands were swollen while his legs were slightly puffed up. Now, he really believed that the skeleton's body was comparable to a half-saint. If he had more Dao artifacts to execute Heavenrend, then perhaps he would be able to kill the skeleton. However, he didn't have a single one on him now, so he couldn't execute Heavenrend at all. How should I destroy this monster? Yang Yi had quite the headache. Bang! Right at this moment, a loud explosion resounded from within the hole in the ground, and then Yang Ye's expression changed because he noticed that the immortal binding rope had been destroyed. What a loss! Yang Ye's face turned gloomy because the battle with this monster had made him lose 2 Dao artifacts. His heart was really bleeding. Bang! The skeleton shot into the sky, and then he instantly arrived in front of Yang Yi and said, "Ant, you actually dared to humiliate me like that. I'll drink you blood, suck out your marrow, chew on your bones, and take your soul." Meanwhile, 3,000 Exalt Realm experts appeared around them and surrounded them. Yang Ye's expression changed slightly. The profound energy within him surged madly into the stellar shuttle as he was about to flee. "Fuck off!" The skeleton roared furiously at those Exalt Realm experts, and he was about to attack them. Right at this moment, the refined man on the ground below suddenly withdrew a wooden tablet, and then his profound energy surged into it. The skeleton in the sky above instantly screamed, and then he glanced at the refined man. "Join forces with them to kill Yang Yi. Otherwise, you can go back to deep sleep," said the refined man. The skeleton tightened his grip of the blood-red saber in his hand, and then he hesitated for a moment before he roared and swung his saber at Yang Yi. On the other hand, the 3,000 Exalt Realm experts pounced at Yang Yi as well. The faces of the founding emperor and beast emperor changed. Yang Ye's expression changed as well because he noticed that the space around him had been frozen, and he wasn't able to flee at all. Swish! Suddenly, a ray of violet light flashed, and then the wooden tablet in the refined man's grasp had vanished. The skeleton stopped moving. The refined man was stunned. Zhao Zhangfei was stunned. But Yang Yi started smiling instead. A violet mink appeared on Yang Ye's shoulder, and it was holding a wooden tablet in its little claws. It was that exact same wooden tablet which the refined man was holding just a moment ago. At the same time, the spatial barriers around Yang Yi had been instantly destroyed. The violet mink gazed at Yang Yi, blinked, and then placed its little head against Yang Ye's face before rubbing it incessantly. Yang Yi took the violet mink in his arms and kissed her on the forehead. The little fellow's round and chubby face instantly blushed red. Yang Yi was amused by this and kissed her on the forehead again before he smiled. "What is it? Little fellow, are you embarrassed? Aren't you supposed to be able to take human form after you received the inheritance? Have you still not received it?" The violet mink glared at Yang Yi with embarrassment, and then she passed the wooden table to Yang Yi before she covered her face with both of her claws and hid behind Yang Ye's head. Yang Yi chuckled. He stopped teasing the little fellow and held the wooden tablet in his grasp before he sent a strand of profound energy into it just like the refined man had. Ah! Meanwhile, the skeleton suddenly let out a shrill cry. Oops? What's wrong with you? Yang Yi gazed at the skeleton in an exaggerated manner and said, You seem to be in great pain? As he spoke, he sent another strand of profound energy into the wooden tablet. Ah! The skeleton rolled about incessantly in midair while roaring furiously. Stop! Stop! Human! Stop! Otherwise I'll drag you down with me. You're even threatening me? Come give it a try. Let's see if you can bring me down with you. Yang Yi sent another strand of profound energy into the wooden tablet while he spoke, and the skeleton started howling incessantly with pain. Kill him! Kill him! Meanwhile, the refined man's quite exasperated voice resounded from below. Just thinking about the corpse ancestor being in Yang Ye's control made the refined man's face turned ghastly pale. After that was undoubtedly a calamity to them. Spatial cage. The voices of 3,000 Exalt Realm experts resounded in midair, and then numerous spatial barriers overlapped each other around Yang Yi. However, the violet mink just waved her claw, and then those spatial barriers around Yang Yi instantly warped. Merely a moment passed before an explosion resounded as all the spatial barriers were instantly destroyed. The expressions of Zhao Zhangfei and the others changed. Yang Yi glanced at the little fellow. She revealed a complacent smile, and then she started scratching Yang Ye's ears, as if she were saying, I'm amazing, right? Yang Yi smiled, and then he gazed at the skeleton and said, Now, help me kill these Exalt Realm experts. Of course, you can choose to refuse, but it's in your best interests to avoid doing that. Otherwise, I'll make living worse than death for you. Besides that, don't threaten me, because unless you really attain the Half-Saint Realm or the Monarch Realm perhaps, otherwise, you can dream of taking me down with you. The skeleton's body trembled incessantly as if he was hesitating. Yang Ye's gaze turned cold, and he was about to make the skeleton experience terrible pain. Meanwhile, the skeleton hurriedly swung his blood-red saber at those Exalt Realm experts. Countless rays of blood-red light shot out, and it instantly annihilated some of the nearby Exalt Realm experts. Corpse Ancestor! How dare you! The refined man was furious. Dare my ass! You idiot! The corpse ancestor was exasperated. If it were a choice between Yang Yi and Zhuge, he would rather Zhuge had the soul control tablet. But he hadn't expected that Zhuge would actually lose the soul control tablet. How stupid does he have to be to let that happen? Every time he thought about how he would be controlled and enslaved by Yang Yi, the corpse ancestor was furious to the point he wished he could destroy the entire world. Swish! Countless rays of blood-red light shot incessantly towards the surroundings. Some Exalt Realm experts joined forces and were barely able to resist them, but the problem was that their attacks simply had no effect when they struck the corpse ancestor. He was completely unharmed. So, how could they fight such a battle? The corpse ancestor's physical body was invincible before Exalt Realm profounders. Kill! Right at this moment, a furious howl resounded in the sky. Yang Yi was delighted when he heard this voice because it was Ding Xiaoyao. Yang Yi didn't hesitate to issue a command in his heart, and his swords flew out and shot towards the Exalt Realm profounders of the exalted Han Empire. The violet mink on his shoulder didn't stand by idly as well. She waved her claws incessantly, and then numerous rays of violet light flashed off incessantly. Practically every single profounder struck by the violet light perished immediately. Even though some profounders at the 5th rank of the Exalt Realm and above were able to avoid death, they were heavily injured at least, and they'd completely lost their ability to fight. No one was able to resist Yang Yi, the skeleton, or the little fellow. Everywhere they went, their enemies would either die or be injured. After Ding Xiaoyao led the Exalt Realm experts into the battle, it instantly became a one-sided battle, and just around 5 minutes had passed when almost 500 Exalt Realm experts from the exalted Han Empire had perished. Retreat! Everyone retreat! Immediately! Zhao Zhangfei roared madly from below, and then he was the first to leave and lead a group towards the Exalt Han Empire. If there was no one to keep Yang Yi and the corpse ancestor busy, then even if they could win the battle in the end, they would have barely come out on top, and that wasn't something he wanted. We're finished. Yuan Tian's face turned pale as he watched Zhao Zhangfei and the others retreat, and his eyes were filled with the color of death. Once the exalted Han Empire retreated, how could the Origin School possibly resist Yang Ye's forces? At this moment, he finally understood that the Origin School was merely a pawn that the exalted Han Empire could abandon at any moment. Yang Yi, you've won. My Origin School surrenders. Right at this moment, Yuan Tian's voice resounded from the sky above the Origin School. Everyone stopped fighting. How many Exalt Realm experts of the Origin School are left? Yang Yi asked Ding Xiaoyao. Ding Xiaoyao said, over 100. Yang Yi nodded, and then he said, Kill! Kill all Exalt Realm experts of the Origin School. As for those below the Exalt Realm, kill any who dare to resist. Could Yang Yi trust the Origin School after it surrendered? The answer was no. Yang Yi believed if Luo Jun were to come to the Southern Territory again, then the Origin School would probably immediately pounce into Luo Jun's arms again. So, if he didn't annihilate this potential trouble when he had an absolute advantage, then even Yang Yi felt that he would be an idiot. Ding Xiaoyao glanced at Yang Yi while there was a trace of admiration in her eyes. She was afraid that Yang Yi would agree to Yuan Tian's request, because if that happened, then the Origin School would become an unstable variable. After all, it might betray them at any time. Moreover, Yang Yi had killed so many experts of the Origin School just now, and those experts definitely had friends, loved ones, or disciples in the Origin School. How could those fellows not hate Yang Yi? Fortunately, Yang Yi didn't show any short-sightedness or soft-heartedness. Kill! Kill them all! Ding Xiaoyao's voice resounded in the air above the Origin School. In an instant, countless howls resounded. Yang Yi! Yuan Tian's roar that carried resentment resounded from high above amidst the clouds. Yang Yi paid no attention to Yuan Tian and just led both the corpse ancestor and the little fellow in pursuit of Zhao Zhangfei. After Zhao Zhangfei's forces had retreated, the Origin School wasn't able to resist Ding Xiaoyao at all, and it was practically a one-sided slaughter. Countless disciples of the Origin School were falling one by one. Yuan Tian's expression was quite horrifyingly ferocious. Allow me to kill him. Right at this moment, a supreme elder at the monarch realm who stood behind Yuan Tian flashed over towards Yang Yi. Don't! Yuan Tian roared furiously. However, it was still a little too late. When that monarch realm expert arrived in the air above Yang Yi and was just about to attack, a palm had passed through space, instantly appeared above the old man, and then slapped down forcefully. Bang! That elder and that expanse of space instantly vanished. Yuan Tian and the others were astounded. A half-saint realm expert is actually formidable to such an extent. Meanwhile, the members of the Origin School had been completely slaughtered, and the once number 1 sect of the Southern Territory had been annihilated just like that. Yang Yi, I'll kill you or die trying. Luo Jun, just you wait. Even though he hated Yang Yi, he hated Luo Jun and the exalted Han Empire even more. Because if the exalted Han Empire hadn't abandoned the Origin School, then it wouldn't have been slaughtered at all. At the very least, it would be able to maintain some of its inheritance. But now, the entire Origin School had been slaughtered, and only a few Monarch Realm experts remained. Let's go! Yuan Tian took one final glance at the Origin School, which was now a scene of desolation, and then he led the other Supreme Elders of the Origin School and vanished from there. Are we just going to let them leave? Said the Beast Emperor. Unless Yang Ye's master makes a move, otherwise we aren't able to kill all of them, said the Founding Emperor. It'll lead to endless potential troubles, said the Beast Emperor. The Founding Emperor chuckled and said, that may not necessarily be the case. Even though he wishes for nothing more than to kill Yang Yi, I think that he wishes for nothing more than to kill Luo Jun as well. After all, it really hurts to be abandoned. Let's pay more attention in the future so as to prevent him from playing any tricks, said the Beast Emperor. Of course. The Founding Emperor nodded. When Zhao Zhangfei and the others fled to Ancient Domain City, countless black-clothed experts had flown out from the city, and then they charged into Zhao Zhangfei's group. Countless rays of cold light flashed before over a dozen Exalt Realm experts instantly fell from the sky. "I've been waiting for all of you." City Governor Lu's voice resounded in the sky above the city. "Lu Yuanhao, how dare you?" Zhao Zhangfei roared furiously. "Aren't you afraid that my exalted Han Empire would crush the entire ancient domain city?" "I'll be waiting," said Lu Yuanhao. Meanwhile, Yang Yi, the corpse ancestor, and the little fellow had caught up. They didn't waste their breaths at all. They just charged into the group of Exalt Realm experts and killed any enemy who stood before them. "Ha ha! Let's kill to our heart's content. Ha ha ha!" The corpse ancestor roared madly with laughter as he killed them. Zhao Zhangfei's face had warped as he watched Yang Ye's group of 3 slaughter his forces, and then he roared towards ancient domain city. "And clan, why aren't you taking actions yet? Could it be that you intend to betray the mortal emperor?" After a moment of silence, countless black-clothed figures flashed out from the city. All of them were 9th-rank Exalt Realm experts, and there are at least 100 of them. A black-clothed woman stood in front of the group of black-clothed figures, and it was that assassin sovereign who was at the monarch realm. Yang Yi didn't even shoot a glance at them before he said, "Continue the slaughter. I swear that I'll definitely annihilate the Southern and clan today if they dare to attack us." "All right, I like your character a little. Ha ha!" The corpse ancestor roared with laughter as he waved the blood-red saber in his hand. And then a ray of blood-red light flashed horizontally and instantly severed the heads of a few Exalt Realm experts in front of him. When the experts under the city governor of ancient domain cities command heard Yang Yi, they continued attacking as well. The black-clothed woman's eyes narrowed slightly while coldness flickered in her eyes. However, she didn't dare to attack, because Yang Yi really could destroy the clan now. "And clan, what are all of you still watching for? Quickly lend us a hand." Zhao Zhangfei roared furiously. After all, he'd already lost 500 Exalt Realm experts at the battle outside the Origin School. Even if the exalted Han Empire was a huge power, it still couldn't endure such losses. Now, those losses would grow even greater if the clan didn't lend them a hand. From this moment onward, the Southern clan is withdrawing from the alliance with the exalted Han Empire. Right at this moment, the black-clothed woman spoke abruptly. Zhao Zhangfei's expression changed. He was just about to speak when another voice resounded from ancient domain city. "From this moment onward, the Northern clan is withdrawing from the alliance with the exalted Han Empire as well." "How dare you?" Zhao Zhangfei roared furiously. "My exalted Han Empire will definitely annihilate you for this betrayal." The black-clothed woman grunted coldly before she led the others away and vanished in midair. When Monarch Realm experts couldn't act against Yang Yi, were there any other Exalt Realm experts who could stop Yang Yi? How would the clan stop Yang Yi if he attacked it? The Northern clan had a Nanjing, but what about the Southern clan? They did possess a huge number of experts, but none of those experts could go against Yang Yi. So, if they didn't separate themselves from the exalted Han Empire, then it would really be possible for Yang Yi to destroy them with the help of the city governor's estate. "Let's go!" Zhao Zhangfei's face twitched when he saw her leave, and then he issued the command to flee. Yang Yi and the others didn't give up on their pursuit as well, and they only stopped after chasing them all the way to the border of the exalted Han Empire. Yang Yi wanted to continue pursuing but had no choice but to give up, because there was an army of almost 500,000 at the border, and practically every single one of them was at the King Realm. The joint forces of 500,000 King Realm Profounders and 2,000 Exalt Realm experts really was sufficient to kill both him and the corpse ancestor. "Let's continue the attack. There's no need to fear them. Those humans can't do anything to us." The corpse ancestor encouraged Yang Yi with all his ability. His body was equivalent to the body of a half-saint, so unless it was an expert at the Monarch Realm or above, ordinary people weren't able to harm him at all. Swish! Right at this moment, 500,000 armor-piercing arrows shot into the air and enveloped down towards the 3 of them. Yang Ye's eyelids twitched. Meanwhile, the corpse ancestor who'd been shouting about fighting them had immediately vanished on the spot. He fled. The corners of Yang Ye's mouth twitched, and then his profound energy surged madly into the stellar shuttle before his figure flashed and vanished on the spot. Even though Yang Ye's group had left, Zhao Zhangfei and the others had extremely unsightly expressions on their faces. His expedition to the Southern Territory could truly be considered as an enormous humiliation to him. Actually, if Luo Jun told him about Yang Ye's true strength, then he wouldn't have suffered such a miserable defeat. It was exactly because he'd misjudged Yang Ye's strength that Yang Yi was able to catch him off guard. Right at this moment, a soldier in golden armor appeared before Zhao Zhangfei, and he said, "General Zhao, the Mortal Emperor is aware of what happened in the Southern Territory. The Mortal Emperor asks that you disregard what happened in the Southern Territory, and the Mortal Emperor will deal with Yang Yi himself. Moreover, the Mortal Emperor has ordered General to lead troops to the Northern Territory to support General Zhang Meng and conquer the Northern Territory as soon as possible." Zhao Zhangfei bowed slightly and said, "Understood." After he finished speaking, he took a long glance at the direction Yang Yi left towards, and then he led the troops away. Ancient Domain City, the Northern and Clan. Young Master Yang, my Northern and Clan has already declared its separation from the exalted Han Empire. Could it be that young Master Yang still refuses to let us go? It was the patriarch of the An clan, Enku, and he was in Nanjing's father. Enku was rather displeased right now because he'd announced his clan's withdrawal from its alliance with the exalted Han Empire. But Yang Yi was trying to take a yard when given an inch and force his clan to leave Ancient Domain City. Yang Yi gazed at him and said, "Patriarch N, the reason I'm here to notify you about this is out of consideration for Nanjing." Enku's eyes narrowed slightly while his voice contained a trace of anger. "Yang Yi, aren't you going a bit too far?" Yang Yi stood up and stared Enku in the eyes as he said, "If it wasn't for Nanjing, I wouldn't be standing here and talking nicely to you. I've never been benevolent to my enemies. The only reason the Northern Clan is still fine and well is because I'm friends with Nanjing." The geographical location of Ancient Domain City was very important. If Luo Jun's army were to break through the Ocean of Anarchy, then Ancient Domain City would be the Southern Territory's last barrier. So, he could only be at ease when Ancient Domain City was in the hands of an ally. Even though both clans had withdrawn from their alliance with the exalted Han Empire, he wasn't able to trust them completely. After all, if they were to suddenly side with Luo Jun again during a future battle and coordinate an attack from both within the city and outside it, how would they possibly defend the city? "You!" Enku was exasperated. Yang Yi paid no attention to him and just left. "Damn it!" Enku slapped the table before him, and it instantly transformed into powder. "Move the An clan from Ancient Domain City." Right at this moment, a voice resounded from outside. Enku's figure trembled because it was the voice of the An clan's ancestor. A short while later, Enku laughed bitterly and said, "Ancestor, besides the Southern Territory and Northern Territory, practically the entire human world is under the exalted Han Empire's control. Where would we go?" "The Southern Territory." Enku was at a loss for words. The Southern An clan. If the Southern An clan still remains within Ancient Domain City tomorrow, then be ready to bear the consequences. Yang Ye's voice resounded in the sky above the Southern An clan, and practically everyone within the city could hear him. "He's going too far." The black-clothed woman spoke in a cold voice within a room, and a strand of killing intent surged incessantly around her. "We'll just leave." And Bairu sighed lightly. "Bairu, when has our An clan suffered such humiliation? Could it be that we're going to just endure it?" said the black-clothed woman. "What else can we do?" And Bairu laughed bitterly. Presently, the Southern Territory's Dark Beast Empire and Grand Qin Empire have formed an alliance, and even the city governor of Ancient Domain City is standing on his side. Besides them, the Ding clan in the Ocean of Anarchy and the Mo clan have formed an alliance with him as well. How would we go against such an alliance? "But," and Bairu shook her head and said, "There are no buts. Even if those powers hadn't allied themselves with him, just Yang Yi himself would be sufficient to strike a huge blow against us while under the condition that Monarch Realm experts can't attack him." A short while passed before the black-clothed woman sighed lightly and said, Perhaps we shouldn't have chosen sides that quickly. Otherwise, the city governor's estate wouldn't have been able to obtain such gains so easily. After all, it has obtained the entire ancient domain city without even using a single soldier. Haha! Lu Yuanhao really knows how to seize opportunities. And Bairu stood up and said, "Notify the clan that we're leaving ancient domain city. Where are we heading?" The southern territory. After they left ancient domain city, the corpse ancestor asked, "Hey, where are we going now?" In the beginning, he was very displeased, but after going through all of this, he noticed that the way this human did things was really like him, so he wasn't that against Yang Yi anymore. Continue killing. Yang Yi held the violet mink in his arms as he flew towards the southern territory. Hee hee hee. The corpse ancestor's laughter was quite ghastly, and he said, "Kid, return that soul control tablet to me, and then join me in the Devil Dao. With your character and natural talent, you'll definitely be able to bring my Devil Dao to great heights." Yang Yi glanced at the corpse ancestor and said, "Is your Devil Dao as strong as my Sword Dao?" "Of course." Corpse ancestor said, "The Sword Dao is nothing. During the ancient times, the Sword Dao was trash before my Devil Dao. No, it was even worse than trash." "What sort of monster are you?" asked Yang Yi. He was quite afraid of this monster who stood before him. After all, besides the Heavenren drawing technique, Yang Yi didn't have any other ability that could harm the skeleton's physical body that was comparable to a half-saint. Moreover, even if he utilized Heavenrend, he would probably be unable to kill this fellow. "You're the monster." Corpse ancestor spoke furiously. "I'm the corpse ancestor, the ancestor of all corpses. Understand? The ancestor of all corpses? What's that? I've never heard of it." Yang Yi insulted him without holding back at all. "How ignorant!" Corpse ancestor's voice was filled with contempt, and he said, "Allow this ancestor to give you a class today. All those years ago during the ancient times, a myriad of Daos vied for supremacy. There was the Sword Dao, Martial Dao, Saber Dao, Dao of Karmic Luck, Ghost Dao, and Devil Dao. I cultivated in the Devil Dao. The more I killed, and the more blood and souls I absorbed, the stronger I would become. All those years ago, my Devil Dao was the strongest beneath the Martial Dao. Why don't you just call it the Dao of Slaughter? It harms the balance of the world, so how could the heavens have tolerated your Devil Dao's existence?" said Yang Yi. "It didn't," Corpse ancestor said. "It's exactly because the heavens didn't tolerate its existence that my Devil Dao has declined to the point of being on the verge of extinction. But it's fine. I'll definitely rebuild the Devil Dao once I've recovered my physical body." Yang Yi suddenly said, "Around how many people do you have to kill in order to accomplish that?" Corpse ancestor spoke casually. "Just a little over 100 million. Yang Yi nodded and said, "We'll head to the exalted Han Empire if we have the chance, and then you can kill to your heart's content. All right?" "Really?" Corpse ancestor's voice carried undisguised excitement. Yang Yi said, "Of course. We're going to kill people right now. Will you really not consider joining my Devil Dao? So long as you do, I guarantee that you'll definitely become a peerless demon in the future. Even the heavens would be helpless against you." Corpse ancestor continued his attempts to tempt Yang Yi. "Cut the crap. Do you best and kill to your heart's content later." Alas, what a pity! The Flower Palace. After the Origin School had been destroyed, countless disciples of the Flower Palace left the sect. Presently, it had less than 10,000 disciples, and their numbers were decreasing incessantly. The entire Flower Palace was covered in a gloomy aura. Flower Hall. "Elder, almost 2,000 Exalt Realm experts have surrounded our Flower Palace. We aren't able to escape." A woman ran into the hall and spoke with a trembling voice. Chen Huagu took a deep breath and said, "Yang Yi intends to annihilate us. Let's fight him to the death. Those bastards from the exalted Han Empire actually abandoned us. They really deserve death for that, otherwise, how could our Flower Palace be reduced to such a state? Could it be that our Flower Palace is going to vanish from the southern territory today?" The hall was filled with sorrow. "Summon our ancestor." A short while later, Qian Huagu spoke abruptly. What? Qian Huagu was shocked. Senior sister. Qian Huagu said, did you not see what happened to the origin school? Do you think Yang Yi would let us go even if we surrender? He won't. He'll annihilate every single disciple of our flower palace. Since he wants to destroy our flower palace, then I'll make him pay a terrible price even if he has a master at the half-saint realm. Qian Hui said, Senior sister, do we really not have another choice? Qian Huagu shook her head and said, our flower palace isn't able to resist him at all while monarch realm experts can't join the battle. I know you can't bear to do so, but does our flower palace have another way out? They are going to die anyway, so why not die a meaningful death? Perhaps the founding ancestor would even be able to avenge them. Alas, we really shouldn't have killed Fengyu that day. Qian Nianci sighed softly. It's pointless to speak about all of that now. Qian Huagu spoke coldly. Qian Hui, activate the 100-flower formation to slow them down, and then summon our ancestor. Qian Hui hesitated for a moment before she nodded. It wasn't long before countless multicolored petals appeared in the air above the flower palace and formed a barrier around it. Outside flower palace, Yang Ye's expression became slightly solemn when he saw that light barrier formed from petals. He was planning to lead his forces into the flower palace, but he hadn't expected that these petals would appear around it. This is the 100-flower formation, the strongest defensive grand formation of the flower palace. Ding Xiaoyao said, I shouldn't have waited for you before attacking. Alas, now it'll be quite troublesome. After the origin school was destroyed, Ding Xiaoyao had immediately led the other experts to the flower palace. Because it was the best time to destroy the flower palace, Ghost Sect, and Bright Moon Sect. So long as these three sects were destroyed, then the southern territory could form into a united front that would make it countless times more difficult for Luo Jun to attack it in the future. The reason she hadn't given the order to destroy the flower palace was because she was very clearly aware of the enmity between Yang Yi and the flower palace. She knew that Yang Yi definitely wanted to destroy it himself. That was why she'd ordered them to surround the flower palace but not attack until Yang Yi arrived. But she hadn't imagined that the flower palace would actually activate the 100-flower formation to resist them until the bitter end. Yang Yi said, It's fine. I'm annihilating the flower palace today no matter what. At that time, he didn't possess sufficient strength, and he could only leave with hate in his heart. Now, there was nothing that could stop him from annihilating the flower palace and avenging his mother. Ding Xiaoyao nodded and said, I've ordered over 1,000 Exalt Realm experts to attack the Ghost Sect and Bright Moon Sect. They would definitely be unable to stop our forces with the strength they possess. Now only the Flower Palace remains. The disciples of the Flower Palace are easy to deal with, but it has 4 Monarch Realm experts. Don't worry, they won't be able to escape today. Right at this moment, the founding emperor suddenly appeared by their side, and both Li Si and Bai Qi had appeared with him. I'm of the same mind. Meanwhile, the Beast Emperor appeared here as well, and 2 more old men were standing by his side. 6 Monarch Realm experts. Count us in as well. Meanwhile, Xiao Tianji and the White Dragon appeared here as well. Senior. Yang Yi was quite surprised as he hadn't expected that the elusive Xiao Tianji would make an appearance here as well. Ding Xiaoyao walked over quickly when she saw Xiao Tianji, and then she bowed respectfully and said, Greetings, Senior. I'm a descendant of the Ding clan. If it wasn't for Xiao Tianji, the Ding clan would have been annihilated a long time ago. So, no one within the Ding clan dared to forget Xiao Tianji's kindness. Xiao Tianji nodded lightly and said, You're Ding Xiaoyao? The one who rejected the opinion of the majority and made the Ding clan ally itself with Yang Yi. Yes. Ding Xiaoyao spoke respectfully. Xiao Tianji smiled and said, Trust me. Your choice is right. I think so too. Ding Xiaoyao grinned. If their prospects were said to be bleak if they sided with Yang Yi before this, then the forces Yang Yi represented now could definitely rival the exalted Han Empire. Even though its overall strength was inferior to the exalted Han Empire, she believed that more and more would definitely side with them because of Yang Yi. Luo Jun's biggest mistake was to become enemies with Yang Yi for the sake of the Flower Palace. If Luo Jun had abandoned the Flower Palace or helped Yang Yi destroy it, then it would absolutely be extremely easy for the exalted Han Empire to unite the Southern Territory. Because no power within the entire Southern Territory could stop the exalted Han Empire's footsteps without Yang Yi. Unfortunately, Luo Jun had been too confident and felt that the exalted Han Empire would definitely be able to destroy Yang Ye's forces if it launched an attack against the Southern Territory. However, the facts proved that he was wrong. "Senior, what are you doing here?" asked Yang Yi. Xiao Tianji's expression grew more and more solemn, and he gazed at the Flower Palace as he said, "I have a bad feeling." The expressions of everyone here changed upon hearing this. Who was Xiao Tianji? He was a terrifying existence that was capable of predicting the future. But he actually said that he had a bad feeling. Could the Flower Palace have some sort of formidable trump card? Xiao Tianji frowned, and then he shook his head and said, "I can't determine what exactly that bad feeling points at, and it's just a very bad feeling. We must be careful after we break open the Grand Formation. Beast Emperor and Founding Emperor, please help me protect Yang Yi later. Because my intuition tells me that he might be in danger." The Beast Emperor and Founding Emperor nodded with solemn expressions on their faces. "Senior, since it's like that, then why don't we retreat for now?" Ding Xiaoyao had a solemn expression on her face. They absolutely couldn't allow anything to happen to Yang Yi right now. Because once something did, then the united front he'd just formed would instantly crumble apart. Xiao Tianji shook his head and said, "Some things can't be avoided. Come, let's go in and have a look. Let's see what sort of tricks the Flower Palace is playing." As he spoke, Xiao Tianji gazed at the Founding Emperor and Beast Emperor before he said, "Please lend me a hand." They nodded in reply. The three of them smashed their fists forward, and then three enormous fists flashed over and smashed directly against the light barrier of petals. Bang! An enormous explosion resounded as it exploded into pieces, and then an extremely dense aura of blood drifted out from within the Flower Palace. All of their expressions changed. Ding Xiaoyao spoke in a low voice. "Why is there such a strong aura of blood? What exactly is the Flower Palace doing?" Yang Yi shook his head and said, "Let's go. We'll naturally find out once we head in and have a look." After they entered the Flower Palace, all of them were shocked by the scene that laid before their eyes.